Right now at 5, Tulsa police arrest a man in connection with a Pokemon card scam.
Plus, we've got increasing clouds today, some shower chances, and a big cool down coming. We'll tell you all about it coming up.
And the Pittsburgh Salvation Army hosts its annual Christmas program sign-ups.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Buck.
I'm Chris Warner. So we've got some breezy conditions yet again across the area. We've got some mild days coming, but we've got a major cool down on the way as well. We're talking fall, almost winter-like temperatures as we head through the end of this week. For right now, though, Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear on the local level and will remain that way. We go way out there, and you can see some scattered shower and thunderstorm activity across parts of the southeast, northeast, and out west. And out west is where our next big weather maker is, and it'll eventually make its way here. Ahead of it, though, we got gusty winds this morning, pushing maybe even 40 miles an hour. Thankfully, they calm down just a bit, and they start to die out, and we get wind gusts maybe 30 miles an hour by Wednesday, so not nearly as bad. But as you can see, some folks in southeast Kansas by Thursday morning, wind gusts again pushing about 40 miles an hour. So we're looking at a knocked over kind of day for your trash can. So let's talk about the future in terms of shower and thunderstorm activity. We'll see the clouds increase today, which you can very easily see here on the future track. Temperatures pushing the lower to mid 60s. We may get a few stray showers in here through the morning hours. It's tomorrow morning that we'll see a few more showers and maybe even a rumble of thunder or two out there. But this rain and thunderstorm activity is not even the main event. We have a bigger event coming up a little later. It's going to change our forecast big time. Right now, 7th and Range Line looking good, 52 degrees, northeast wind at 8. Temperatures across the region, not bad either. 51 Chanute and Parsons, 50 in Pittsburgh, 49 Carthage, and 48 in Neosho. Live look at the MoDOT camera at 36th and Range Line. Nary a car on the road for now. We got a green light for your morning drive. Will be decent. Clouds increasing, mostly cloudy by this afternoon. Yellow light for your drive home for those wind gusts pushing maybe upwards of 30 miles an hour. Kids getting on the bus again this morning, 47, gusts to maybe 20. Clouds will increase throughout the day and be 62 by the time they get home with those gusts again pushing 30. For today, we're looking at a high of about 65 under mostly cloudy skies, and it's so weird putting the nighttime icon on at 5 o'clock in the evening. Really throws everything off. 52 for our overnight low tonight, but as you can see, we'll start warming back up as we head into tomorrow morning. We're going to talk about the 7-day forecast and some of those really big changes that are on the way here in just a couple of minutes.
Yep. I went into the grocery store yesterday. It was about 5 o'clock. It was still daylight, and when I came out, pitch black.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. The whole daylight savings time just throws everything off. So, I mean, it's nice to get the extra hour of sleep, and it's interesting. But, yeah, it becomes nighttime very early across the area.
Doesn't give you much time to get things done during the day, that's for sure.
But you know what? It helps folks like us who've got to be up, at the butt crack of dawn.
True.
It's easier to fall asleep, at 6:30 because it's been dark for a while. Like you feel like you've been up into the night and it's time to go to bed.
That's true.
Not still daylight out.
I did not have to fight with my kids last night. That was nice. All right, thanks, Chris. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol says one 6-year-old is dead after their vehicle was swept into floodwater Friday night in Adair County, Oklahoma. According to the OHP, the incident occurred around 9 p.m. on a county road 4643 near Stillwell, Oklahoma. The OHP says the driver of the vehicle, who is from Jay, Oklahoma, attempted to cross a flooded bridge when it was then swept into the water. According to the deputies, the 6-year-old victim was pronounced dead at the scene. A man in Tulsa is behind bars for allegedly selling fake Pokemon cards on Craigslist to people all across the country. Tulsa police say Michael McCoy was arrested after a tip came in from a victim in Hawaii who had paid $3,000 for what he thought were the real deal. Police had already been looking into this case for months when they got a call from that victim in Hawaii. That person agreed to work with investigators. They set up a fake number to trick McCoy into selling him cards again. Police were then able to arrest McCoy when he went to the post office to mail the cards out.
It really became something bigger than I had any clue about. And it was like instant that I knew. I was like, these are terrible quality. These are totally fraudulent.
Officials say in all, McCoy was able to scam people out of $12,000, including in Arizona, Colorado, Ohio, and Texas. He now faces 4 counts of false pretense under $1,000 or con game. Crawford County families can get some help with purchasing Christmas gifts for children. KOAM's Yana Tula talked with the Pittsburgh Salvation Army about the sign-up. She joins us live from the Salvation Army in Pittsburgh with more.
Thank you, Tanya, and good morning. We're live here in Pittsburgh at the Salvation Army, where they are currently taking applications for their Christmas baskets. Major Patricia Johnson from Salvation Army says people need to be quick to sign up and not wait until December or it is too late. She says last year they had around 350 families who they helped, but this year she believes it will be higher because of inflation. To be able to receive a basket, a family needs to bring a proof of residency in Crawford County, income and identification for every family member.
Every family will come in individually, and we'll have this space will be set up so that we can talk with them one-on-one, and it's as confidential as we can be, making sure that we get the information.
The Salvation Army will take applications. Families can come in right here until this Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They have time to come and sign up. And the gifts will be distributed in the middle of December. Joplin sign-ups are already done, and the gifts will be distributed on December 21st. Live in Pittsburgh, Yana Haudala, KOAM News.
And thank you so much for that report, Yana. Well, a Pitt State faculty member has been named a part of the top 2% of scientists in the world by Stanford University. Ram Gupta works as an associate professor at PSU. The chemist spends his time researching, advocating for grants, and most importantly, inspiring a new generation of scientists.
I'm in contact with almost all students, and my weekend is pretty full talking with them. They want to hear I have not heard you for a long time. I want to hear. Okay. So yeah, students are very appreciative the support we are giving them, and we are also appreciative to students the work they have done here.
Gupta has been bringing more recognition to the Research Center and PSU since 2013.
All right, quick check of the just absolutely crazy sunrise, sunset. Sunrise 6:49 this morning. Sun will set at 5:14. Remember, the days continue to get shorter as we get closer to the winter equinox. All right, we go through the rest of the week. We're 79 Wednesday. It's our warmest day. Thunderstorms Thursday. We are watching that system as we got a pretty good shot of some showers and thunderstorms then. Now look at what happens to temperatures after that. 50 Friday, 47 Saturday, 45 on Sunday, and lows back into the 20s.
All right. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Saturday was a big day for the Gorillas as they're now 10-0. We'll give you a recap of that big game in sports.
Plus, learning a new language is hard, but the people of the Lakota Nation are ensuring that their language continues to be passed on.
And a study finds magic mushrooms have helped improve depression in those struggling with treatment-resistant depression. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, the Missouri Southern women made a statement in their season opener, beating 23-ranked Lubbock Christian on Saturday. Lions are back in action in Kansas City. Southern facing Minnesota Duluth. The Lions grind out another big win, 54-51. Lacey Stokes scores 13 points and has 3 steals. Maddie Stokes adds another 13 points with 8 rebounds. The Kansas City Chiefs are home facing Tennessee Titans in prime time. Both teams enter the game with a 5-2 record. Titans have won 5 straight. Kansas City comes back to tie it at 17 in the 4th. Chiefs managed to win this one in overtime, 20-17. And Pitt State Gorillas claimed the MIAA title on Saturday, beating Washburn 37-23. It was an extra special day for wide receiver Mark Whelan. Whelan led the Gorillas with 72 receiving yards and scored his first touchdown of the season. Prior to Saturday's game, he had just 1 reception. Whelan also earned the game ball for his performance.
It felt great. I just wanted to help my team. I've been waiting on my moment, and it finally came. I know I had it in me, and I got great teammates that kept reminding me that my time's going to come, and just they've been helping me keep my head on. And It's been hard. I'm not gonna lie with not playing, but it finally came.
It couldn't happen to a better human being either. He's an outstanding kid and has a great story, and we're so excited to have him here before he did all of that, and then so happy for him to go out and perform like he did today.
Kansas picked up a huge win over 18th ranked Oklahoma State on Saturday. It's their first win over a ranked opponent since 2010. Jayhawks beat the Cowboys 37-16. Devin Neal had a monster game. You have to listen to these stats: 224 rushing yards and a touchdown and 110 receiving yards. The win makes Kansas Bowl eligible for the first time since 2008.
I'm really proud of them and happy for them, you know, especially when we look at the guys that have been around a long time and everything that they've kind of gone through. They persevered, they stayed with this program. You know, we're pretty demanding and things, and there's a reason why we are is for moments like this. And we still have 3 games we got to get ready to play, and that's one of the things we talked about, is that this isn't over, okay? But the cool thing is that we get to be around each other longer, and a lot of these guys have no idea what that's really about.
Still to come, for the first time in 20 years, the FDA considers a new UTI antibiotic. And we're going to have another check of your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:16 right now. Time for some weather trivia. And today we're asking you this. Fog and mist are similar, but they're not completely the same. What sets them apart? Is it temperature, location, time of year, or density? While you think about that, we'll talk about our forecast. And right now, the Skywatch Storm Tracker is pretty clear on the local level. A few showers out in the southeast, some showers off in the New England states, and our next weather maker out to the northwest. We'll be keeping an eye on as we head into the end of the week. In the meantime, we're dealing with gusty winds again as we head through this morning, maybe pushing 40 miles an hour, and they'll calm down just a little bit. By Wednesday, we're back to 20, 30 mile an hour gusts. By Thursday, some of us back to 40 mile an hour gusts, most of us at 20 to 30 miles an hour. So still some windy days ahead of us across the area, and that, at least for today, could leave your trash can knocked over, so make sure it's tied down. Looking at the future track, we could see a few stray showers as we go through today, but we're expecting to otherwise remain dry. But as you can see, the clouds will increase as we head into the lower to mid 60s. And as we head into tomorrow morning around 7, you see a few stray showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two out there as we get a weak system passing through, bringing us some of these showers and maybe a stray thunderstorm or two in terms of that. Outside of that, it clears out. It's not until Thursday that we'll start to see our next big weather maker, which could bring us a few more showers and thunderstorms across the area. Now, it's already moved, but take a look at that full moon. Don't forget, if it's not too cloudy, we have a lunar eclipse that'll be visible come tomorrow. Right now in Joplin, though, aside from that full moon, it's 52 degrees with a northeast breeze at 8 miles an hour. Temperature across the region not bad. 46 in Neodesha, 51 Parsons, 50 Chatopa, 51 in Miami, 48 in Neosho, and 50 in Monette. Live look at the MoDOT camera, looking at 36 in Rangeline. A few more cars out there. As you begin your morning commute, we're looking at a green light for that, as well as increasing clouds. And we have got a yellow light because we could see those wind gusts later today, about 30 miles an hour with mostly cloudy skies. Kids getting on the bus this morning, 47, partly cloudy, increasing clouds later, 62 when they get home. We're looking at a high today of 65 with those increasing clouds, and we'll drop back down to a low of 52 tonight. Now for a quick check of the answer to our question as to what makes fog and mist similar but not quite the same. Well, if you pick D, density, you'd be right. With fog, of course, visibility can be significantly reduced. Now, mist reduces the visibility, just not as much as fog. And we take a very quick look at the 7-day. Really warm Wednesday, 79, showers and thunderstorms Thursday, and then look at those temperatures. We drop back to the 40s by next weekend with lows in the 20s. Well, the Lakota Sioux are historically known as the iconic warrior horsemen of the Northern Plains, but their native language is dying, with only a few thousand people still able to speak it. Colette Bordlin reports on an effort in Colorado to preserve an important part of Lakota culture.
I'm still here in Wichala. Wichala. Wichala.
Learning a language isn't easy.
I'm so excited to be here. And it's so much information, I'm overwhelmed.
And learning this language
Kanta
is helping Deanna Guerra learn more about herself.
I can say a lot, but I can't say it in Lakota yet.
Dua 1950s unheha tumpi hai.
Every word, a way to connect to the past.
So much was lost, and just doing my little part to reconnect. When I was a young child, my mother was killed. I lost all connections to my relatives, to my family.
Her journey has led to her Lakota roots.
I know my big smile, who it comes from, and it comes from my Lakota relatives.
It's the essence of our identity.
Alex Firethunder doesn't necessarily see himself as a teacher.
Teaching is just sharing for me. It's just sharing what was shared with me, and it doesn't belong to me.
He's the deputy director of the Lakota Language Consortium. The group says the last generation of first language speakers are now in their 70s, and the language has not been passed down to the next generation since the mid-1950s.
Pizza.
Lakota is one of only 8 Native American languages with more than 5,000 speakers. The goal is to pass it on to even more people.
If we don't do that, the language doesn't survive.
A way to connect the past with the present.
It was so lost, and I just hope I can keep that fire going.
Learning more about a language and how to carry on the tradition for future generations.
I love being Lakota. I love who I am. And I'm a beautiful indigenous creature.
Lakota people once roamed over a large portion of the upper Midwest of the United States. Today, many are concentrated in 5 major reservations in the Dakotas. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Is preserving culture and heritage important? Yes or no? And we want you to vote on this question. You can do so through our website, through the app, and take part in discussion on our Facebook page. And we'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the 6 most commonly used over-the-counter supplements for heart health do not help lower cholesterol. Though ads may say fish oil, garlic, cinnamon, turmeric, red yeast, rice, and plant sterols are heart healthy. That may not be the case. According to a new study in the American Journal of Cardiology, in a side-by-side comparison with a statin medication and placebo, they failed. Only the statin prescription medication actually reduced cholesterol and triglyceride levels by a significant amount. One author called the so-called heart-healthy vitamins and supplements, quote, snake oil, unquote. Researchers say most American adults are unaware that most dietary supplements are not tested in double-blind clinical trials. Well, nearly half of the U.S. is already experiencing a flu surge this fall. 17 states and Washington, D.C. and New York City are reporting high or very high respiratory illness activity. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says this flu season is hitting the nation harder and earlier than in previous years. According to the CDC, there have been more than 1.5 million illnesses and 730 deaths from the flu so far this year. Influenza activity is the highest in the South, with the Mid-Atlantic not far behind. And a new type of antibiotic to treat urinary tract infections will soon be submitted for FDA approval ahead of schedule. And that's a big deal because it's the first antibiotic developed for UTIs in more than 20 years. UTIs are one of the most common infections, especially in women and girls. The new antibiotic is a pill called gepotidacin. The drug maker, GSK, said its independent data monitoring committee recommended stopping testing early because the drug had already proven to be effective. GSK said it would prepare its findings for publications in a medical journal and submit its data to the FDA for approval next year. That's about a year and a half ahead. That's about a year ahead of the study's anticipated completion date. New antibiotics are desperately needed because over time, many kinds of bacteria have become resistant to the agents used to treat them. Well, a study found a single dose of a synthetic version of the mind-altering component in magic mushrooms improved depression in people with a treatment-resistant form of the disease. The randomized, double-blind clinical trial compared results of a 25 milligram dose to a 10 milligram and 1 milligram dose of a synthetic psilocybin. And the researchers say they found an immediate, fast, rapid-acting, sustained response to 25 milligrams. But by week 12, the positive impact on depressive symptoms had waned and no longer reached a level of statistical significance. Experts found the study's findings promising, but say there are a number of issues that need further evaluation before this drug would be available for clinical use. The study was published Wednesday in the New England Journal of Medicine. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Well, as the kids get on the bus this morning, maybe a bit breezy out there and otherwise partly cloudy, 47. Winds continue to gust throughout the day, pushing maybe 30 miles an hour, 62, and clouds will increase as well, mostly cloudy by the time they get home. 65 degrees is the high we're looking at today with those increasing clouds, and as we head into tonight, we're going to end up with mostly cloudy skies and a low of 52. As you can see, we hit this kind of early before we start to warm up again heading into tomorrow. As we take a look at the 7-day forecast, we got some shower chances, maybe a rumble of thunder or two on Tuesday, and then we warm up big time on Wednesday, 75 on Thursday, more shower and thunderstorm chances building in. And this system we're watching because the thunderstorm chances, which we'll keep an eye on, but it also, look at the low Thursday night, 37. We dip back into the 20s for overnight lows heading into the weekend, and temperatures continue to drop, albeit partly cloudy, and we'll have highs in the 40s by this upcoming weekend. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 5:30, Tulsa police arrest a man in connection with a Pokemon card scam.
We're going to see increasing clouds as we go through today, and we're watching some shower chances and a big cool down. We'll break it all down coming up.
And the Pittsburgh Salvation Army hosts its annual Christmas program sign-ups.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:31. I'm Tanya Bark.
I'm Chris Warner. So we got some big changes coming into the forecast. We got a few days before they get here, so as if the time change wasn't enough, we have big forecast changes. But again, we got a few days before they get here, so at least Mother Nature is allowing you to settle into it being dark super early before it throws some wild temperatures at us. More
well, that's good
seasonable
at least.
temperatures.
Break us in easy.
Exactly. The thing is, though, these temperatures are going to be below average, but at least they'll be much more fall and winter-like. So Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear on the local level. We zoom out. There's some showers across the southeast New England states, and out in the Pacific Northwest is where we are watching our next storm system for Thursday. Dealing with some windy conditions this morning, maybe pushing upwards of 30, 40 mile an hour gusts. We get a little bit of a break, and they return Wednesday, pushing maybe 30 mile an hour gusts, and by Wednesday, and then by Thursday morning, we're looking at maybe even 40 mile an hour wind gusts. And for today, that could leave your trash can knocked over, so do make sure it is secure. Taking a look at the future tracks, we may see a scattered shower or two across the area today, but as we head into tomorrow, we have a slightly better chance of a few more scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder through the morning and early afternoon hours of Tuesday. We will otherwise be mostly cloudy, and as you can see, will be somewhat warm. All right, in Joplin right now, 52 degrees under those clear to partly cloudy skies. Temperatures across the region are good, 51 Parsons, 49 Pittsburgh, 50 in Monette. MoDOT camera 36 in Rangeline looks good. Green light for the morning drive, but a yellow light for the drive home for those gusty winds. Kids getting on the bus this morning. Again, a bit gusty and a little cool. 47 under partly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy at 3 o'clock, 62. Today we're heading for a high of 65 with increasing cloud cover across the area. And tonight will be mostly cloudy and drop back down to a low of 52. And we will take a look at the 7-day forecast, some of those temperature changes here in a couple of minutes.
All right, a lot to talk about.
Indeed. There always is. There's always something to talk about.
That's true. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a man in Tulsa is behind bars for allegedly selling fake Pokemon cards on Craigslist to people all across the country. Tulsa police say Michael McCoy was arrested after a tip came in from a victim in Hawaii who had paid $3,000 for what he thought was the real deal. Police had already been looking into this case for months when they got a call from that victim in Hawaii. That person agreed to work with investigators, and they set up a fake number to trick McCoy into selling him cards again. Police were then able to arrest McCoy when he went to the post office to mail the cards out.
It really became something bigger than I had any clue about. And it was like instant that I knew. I was like, these are terrible quality. These are totally fraudulent.
Officials say in all, McCoy was able to scam people out of $12,000, including in Arizona, Colorado, Ohio, and Texas. He now faces 4 counts of false pretense under $1,000 or con game. A new Planned Parenthood clinic in one of the few states in the region where abortion remains legal is flooded with calls. Calls are not just from panicked patients in Kansas and nearby Missouri, but also in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, even as far away as Louisiana. This clinic and other Planned Parenthood centers in Kansas have been doing their best to help, lengthening hours, hiring staff, and flying in physicians. But even then, they have only been able to take about 10 to 15% of the patients seeking abortions. All this while protesters make the anti-abortion stance outside. Patient Haley Ruark of Missouri waited 2 weeks for an appointment. She had panicked after a series of birth control mishaps. She already balances working 12-hour shifts as a patient care technician at a hospital while caring for her 2- and 6-year-old sons.
That's insane. That's a lottery. Like, to get in to get basic health care. That to me is devastating.
This new clinic in Kansas opened 4 days after the U.S. Supreme Court's June decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Crawford County families can get some help with purchasing Christmas gifts for children. KOAM's Yana Dula talked with the Pittsburgh Salvation Army about the signups, and she joins us live from the Salvation Army in Pittsburgh with more.
Thank you, Tanya, and good morning to everyone. We're live here in Pittsburgh, where the Salvation Army is currently taking Christmas sign-ups for the whole Crawford County. Major Patricia Johnson from Salvation Army says people need to be quick to sign up and not wait until December or it is too late. She says last year they had around 350 families who they helped, but this year she believes it will be higher because of inflation. To be able to receive a basket, a family needs to bring up a proof of residency in Crawford County, income, and identification for every family member.
Every family will come in individually, and we'll have this space will be set up so that we can talk with them one-on-one, and it's as confidential as we can be, making sure that we get the information.
The Salvation Army will take applications in from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. until this Friday, so you need to be quick to do that this week. They will start to distribute the gifts on December in the half of December, and Joplin signups are already done, and they will start distributing the gifts on the December 21st. Live in Pittsburgh, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Well, thank you, Yana. It's hard to believe Christmas is going to be here before we know it. So if you need that assistance or you think you might need that assistance, get on it now. All right, thanks, Yana. Well, this morning, we're discussing preserving culture or heritage.
Learning a language isn't easy, and learning this language is helping people learn more about themselves. Every word is a way to connect to the past.
The instructor does not necessarily see himself as a teacher. He's also the deputy director of the Lakota Language Consortium. Group says the last generation of first language speakers are now in their 70s, and the language has not been passed down to the next generation since the mid-1950s.
Now, Lakota is one of only 8 Native American languages with more than 5,000 speakers. The goal is to pass it on to even more people, because if they don't pass it on, the language doesn't survive. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Is preserving culture and heritage important? So far, 100% of you say yes. Make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. I think it's very important to preserve culture and heritage, because when we forget part of ourselves.
That's true. And to me, it seems like the obvious answer, and our viewers do too.
Yeah, I think they've got it.
So far, anyway.
So far. We'll see how the poll goes through the morning. Quick check of the 7-day forecast. So again, some showers possible tomorrow. Of course, don't forget to vote. Look at Wednesday, 79, 75 on Thursday. And we're watching that storm system for the thunderstorm chances and for the big cool down it brings. 37 Thursday night, 50 on Friday, 40s through the weekend, and overnight lows dropping back into the 20s, if you can believe it. So those highs through the weekend are actually our average temperature for lows this time of year. So if we're going to go from one extreme to the other, we're going to go from well above average to well below average. So
there you go.
It's the 4 states.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, we meet a PSU professor who is named a top scientist in the world and how he is inspiring future scientists.
Plus, if you're going to Chile, you might want to be careful with your possessions, as there's been a rise in thefts, but not caused by the human kind of folks. Well, the latest.
All right. And you're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, the charred remains of a Chinese rocket booster fell back to Earth Friday morning. The rocket was launched October 31st. The U.S. Space Command says it re-entered the atmosphere over the South Central Pacific Ocean. The West is calling it an irresponsible move by the China National Space Administration, and space policy experts say it poses an unnecessary risk. This hazardous situation marked the fourth uncontrolled re-entry for a Long March 5B rocket since China's space agency started flying it 2 years ago. A space traffic expert says much of the rocket burns up during re-entry, but about 10 to 40% of it is expected to survive. The rocket was designed without equipment to steer itself to a safe landing. Most rockets flying today are built with a way to make sure rocket boosters are safely discarded. Well, if you're ever in Santiago, Chile, watch out for thieves. Not necessarily the kind you're thinking of, though. This TV reporter was broadcasting live on air talking about rising crime in the area when a parrot, there he is, suddenly landed on his shoulder. The reporter didn't miss a beat, continuing to talk as the bird stayed perched there. That's pretty cool, right? Well, the reporter began gesturing to his cameraman when suddenly the animal stole one of the reporter's AirPods right out of his ear and flew off. After the live shot was over, the reporter said, "It just took my earpiece." He had tried to go after it, but the bird kept flying away. A little girl yelled, "Leave the parrot alone!" He just had to laugh. The cameraman did eventually find the reporter's AirPod in the grass, probably because it didn't taste good, and all is well.
That's funny.
All right, that's a look at a few of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
I can't say anytime I've been live that I've had to deal with that kind of situation, thankfully. But, of course, we don't have a lot of wild parrots here in the 4 states either, so it's probably a good thing. What we do have, some wild wind today. Wind gusts this morning could be pushing upwards of 40 miles an hour. We get a brief break. Then by Wednesday morning, they're pushing 25, 30 miles an hour. And by Thursday, they're pushing 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts yet again. So for today, your trash can could be knocked over. Make sure it is secure. Future tracks. So as we head through today, a stray shower or two is possible across the area. The biggest thing that we're going to see is the increasing clouds, and we're going to be fairly mild, temperatures around the mid-60s. It's tomorrow morning that we're watching a few more scattered showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder or two, and they'll hold on through the early afternoon, as you can see, especially in southeast Kansas, before they'll eventually make their way on out of here by the early evening hours. And then we have a much bigger storm system coming in a little bit later. There's that full moon setting out there. It's been a nice shot of that moon this morning. 52 in Joplin under clear skies. Temperatures across the region are not too bad either. 46 in Neodesha, 45 Yates Center, 51 Parsons in Chitopa and Miami, 48 in Neosho, and 49 in Carthage as we start the day. Live look at the MoDOT camera, 36 in Rangeline. A few more cars on the road, and as you start your morning commute, we're looking all right. Green light for your morning drive. Temperatures right around 50 degrees. Increasing clouds, so mostly cloudy for the drive home. A yellow light as we'll see more gusty winds by the time you start to head home this afternoon. 47 when the kids get on the bus, partly cloudy, and then those clouds increase, mostly cloudy, and 62 by 3 o'clock. As we head through today, we're looking at a high of 65 degrees with those increasing clouds. It's still so weird putting a nighttime icon on at 5, but the sun sets a lot earlier now than what it used to. 52 for the overnight low tonight, and then we start to warm up by 6 a.m. tomorrow. We'll hit a overnight low of 52, like I mentioned, and 55 by 6 a.m. Sunrise today, earlier, 6:49. Sunset much earlier at 6:14. That's what it would have been. It's now at 5:14. 7-day forecast. Got the showers tomorrow. Of course, don't forget to vote. Very warm Wednesday, partly cloudy, 79. 75 on Thursday. We're watching this system with some thunderstorm chances. And the other thing it brings with it is a major cool down. 37 Thursday night, 50 on Friday, only in the 40s by the weekend. And look at those overnight lows dropping back down into the 20s. So the thing is, these are our average overnight lows this time of year. And this is actually relatively close, maybe down here, a little close to what our average highs should be. So we're going to be well above average to well below average in a matter of days. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Making Memories Tour holds its annual travel expo. They have multiple stagecoach tours and trolleys. It gives repeat customers an opportunity to come back and tour together. Pitt State faculty member is named one of the top 2% of scientists in the world by Stanford University. Ram Gupta works as an associate professor at PSU. The chemist spends his time researching, advocating for grants, and most importantly, inspiring a new generation of scientists. Some local tech businesses on Friday had the opportunity to show off their innovations in Joplin. Joplin Chamber of Commerce hosted its 2022 Joplin Regional Innovation and Technology Summit. Summit provides a chance for the tech businesses to hold sessions showcasing their emerging technology, business innovations, cyber resiliency, and digital cities. KCU Joplin starts a new program to train its students with the help of actors. The simulated patient program allows students to experience realistic scenarios they could face on the job. Actors are trained to portray patients with various illnesses and injuries. Students are assessed on how they provide care to the actors. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Quick check of that forecast for you as you head out the door. The camera from MoDOT looking at 36 in range line, looking good. Green light for your morning drive. We'll have increasing clouds, temperatures right about 50, but we do have the yellow light for your drive home. Not because of the cloud cover necessarily, but because of increasing wind gusts pushing maybe 30, 35 miles an hour this afternoon. 47 and partly cloudy when the kids get on the bus, and then breezy later, 62 and mostly cloudy when they come home. Heading for a high of 65 degrees today with mostly cloudy skies, and we will be mostly cloudy as we head into tonight. An early overnight low of 52, and it will start to warm up by 6 a.m. tomorrow, 55. Look at the 7-day. We have a stray shower or two possible tomorrow, 64, near 80 on Wednesday, and then a big system coming in Thursday, showers and thunderstorms, and a major cool down, 37 after a high of 75. We cool back down into the 40s by the weekend. Overnight lows drop back down into the 20s. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
A Pitt State faculty member has received a worldwide award from Stanford University.
A chemist is recognized as one of the top 2% of scientists in the world. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
The National Institute of Material Advancement Research Lab has led to the development of countless products and now an award-winning instructor. The executive director says the recognition for Dr. Ram Gupta is well-deserved.
Ram is the backbone of the team on here. His leadership, his creativity, his devotion to the students is amazing.
It is amazing feeling to work with a student. A student comes with sometimes new ideas which we are not thinking about. So they come with the new creative idea. Sometimes we feel, oh, it's a crazy idea, but it works, you know. So getting different perspective from different students is amazing, and I think that's what in research is very important.
Gupta has been bringing more recognition to the Research Center and PSU since 2013. Stanford University list of the top 2% of scientists in the world takes into account the number of publications, citations, and followers of that scientist's work.
It was a great surprise in the sense of just timing. It seemed to come out of nowhere. But on the other hand, when you see it and hear it, you're like, well, yeah, it makes sense.
Ram's research is not just to improve society, but to inspire younger scientists.
Without their support, I think we cannot achieve what we are doing right now.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Dr. Gupta is currently researching materials to build microchips.
It's an incredible honor, and to be able to have somebody like that teaching at one of our local universities is just, I mean, it's an incredible opportunity for those students that he's teaching as well.
I hope they know that he got this honor too.
If they don't, they probably know by now, but that's absolutely incredible for us, so and incredible for him for sure.
For sure.
Well, we've got another check of your forecast when we come back. We have got a windy day in store for us today. Wind gusts could push upwards of about 40 miles an hour today. And by the time we get into Wednesday after a brief break, wind gusts again 25, 30 miles an hour. Thursday could be 30 to 40 miles an hour. So some windy conditions. And for today, that trash can could get knocked over. I did see a very amusing Facebook post about that being one of the most accurate forecasts anybody had ever seen, because by golly, they drove down the street and what did they see on a knocked over trash can day? A knocked over trash can. What made it better though is the trash can in their picture looked just like that one. So as we go through the morning, maybe a stray shower or two. Heading into Tuesday, we could see a few more stray showers, possibly even a rumble of thunder. And these will start to clear out by early evening once we get through the rest of the day. And they're going to leave us with some partly cloudy skies, which is really going to allow us to warm up. Right now, in Joplin, we are clear and 51 in the city, so not too bad for this time of year. As we look at temperatures across the region, 46 in Neodesha, 49 Pittsburgh, 47 Lamar, and 49 in Carthage. Live look at the MoDOT camera, 36 in Rangeline, looking pretty good so far. Green light for your morning commute. We might want to change that to a yellow light for those gusty winds. Increasing clouds and near 50. Yellow light for the drive home for the gusty winds. Otherwise cloudy and right around 60 degrees. Kids getting on the bus this morning, 47, partly cloudy, some gusty winds. Gusty winds later, 62, mostly cloudy when the bus brings them back home. Heading for a high of 65. We'll have mostly cloudy skies through the day and start cooling off. We'll start cooling off a little bit earlier these days. Now the sun goes down a bit earlier. 52 for the overnight low early, then 55 by 6 a.m. on Sunday. As we look at the 7-day forecast, again, the low-end chance of a stray shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, 64, 79, partly cloudy on Wednesday. Bigger system coming Thursday, showers, thunderstorms, 75. We drop down to 37 Thursday night, if that tells you how powerful the system is. We cool off heading into the weekend into the 40s under partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows, man, check that out. They drop back down into the 20s. More of the KOAM Morning News is right after this.
Right now at 6, calls from other states flood a new Planned Parenthood clinic in Kansas, one of a few states in the region where abortion remains legal.
We've got some clear skies to start our day today, but we'll have increasing cloud cover and maybe even some shower and thunderstorm chances this week. We're going to break it all down coming up.
And 'tis the season for giving as the Pittsburgh Salvation Army spreads holiday cheer for some families in Crawford County.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. It's 6 o'clock on this Monday morning. So remember, Monday we can complain about, but by Tuesday we start being positive. So Mondays, whatever. But it is the Monday after a fall back time, so for some that's helpful. For others, not so much.
It's dark when we go to work anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
That's very true. That's very true. Our producer Ron was telling me that the time changes mess with him anyway. It's never a good or a bad thing. It's just it throws his clock off, and I completely understand that.
And I have yet to change any of the clocks in my house.
I did when I woke up Sunday morning. That's the first thing I did is I went around, changed all the clocks except the one where Amber was still sleeping, because I didn't want to wake her up with the going beep beep beep, because it's one of those ones, you press the button, it beeps really obnoxiously.
I see.
Our forecast today, somewhat on the obnoxious side. Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear, and by obnoxious, I mean it's going to be a bit breezy. You can see some showers in the southeast. We got some showers in New England states and our next system out in the Pacific Northwest. Look at these wind gusts pushing upwards of maybe 40 miles an hour for some of us later today. Brief break as we head through Tuesday, and by Wednesday morning, yeah, it's gusty again. Winds pushing 30 miles an hour, maybe even 40 by Thursday morning. And so for today, it is a knocked over trash can kind of day. So please make sure it's tied down, put up against the house, whatever. Maybe a stray shower or two as we see the clouds increase through today. But most of us dry, we're just facing the increasing clouds. And as we head into tomorrow, that's where we see a better chance of a few scattered showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder across the area. 7th and Rangeline looking pretty good so far. 51 degrees in Joplin right now. Temperatures across the area, not too shabby. 44 Yates Center, 43 Iola, 48 in Nevada, and 48 in Carthage. Live look at the MoDOT camera, 36 in Rangeline, looking good as well. Green light for your morning drive, but I'm going to probably change that to a yellow just for those gusty winds. Increasing clouds near 50. Yellow light for the drive home, same reason, gusty winds. Otherwise mostly cloudy and near 60. Kids getting on the bus this morning, a bit chilly, especially with that wind. 47 and partly cloudy, and mostly cloudy when the bus brings them home, and 62. Heading for a high of 65 degrees today under those mostly cloudy skies. We'll hit an early overnight low of 52 before we start to warm back up towards sunrise tomorrow, 55 at 6 a.m. We do have some additional shower and thunderstorm chances and a pretty big cool down on the way, and we'll break that all down here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, a lot to break down and talk about, that's for sure.
Always is.
All right, thanks.
I'll find a way to come up with something.
All right, thanks, Chris. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says a 6-year-old died after a vehicle was swept into floodwaters Friday night in Adair County, Oklahoma. According to the OHP, the incident occurred around 9 p.m. on County Road 4643 near Stillwell, Oklahoma. Authorities say the driver of the vehicle, who is from Jay, Oklahoma, attempted to cross at a flooded bridge when it was then swept into the water. According to deputies, the 6-year-old victim was pronounced dead at the scene. A new Planned Parenthood clinic in one of the few states in the region where abortion remains legal is flooded with calls. Calls are not just from panicked patients in Kansas and nearby Missouri, but also in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, even as far away as Louisiana. This clinic and other Planned Parenthood centers in Kansas have been doing their best to help, lengthening hours and hiring staff and flying in physicians. But even then, they've been only able to take about 10% to 15% of the patients seeking abortions. All this while protesters make their anti-abortion stance outside. Patient Haley Ruark of Missouri waited 2 weeks for an appointment. She had panicked after a series of birth control mishaps, and she already balances working 12-hour shifts as a patient care technician at a hospital while caring for her 2- and 6-year-olds.
It's insane. That's a lottery. Like, to get in to get basic health care. That to me is devastating.
This new clinic in Kansas opened 4 days after the U.S. Supreme Court's June decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Crawford County families can get some help with purchasing Christmas gifts for their children. KOAM's Yana Tula talked with the Pittsburgh Salvation Army about their Christmas signups. She joins us live from the Salvation Army in Pittsburgh with more. Yana?
Thank you, Tanya, and good morning to everyone. We're live here in Pittsburgh at the Salvation Army, where they are currently taking applications for Christmas signups. Major Patricia Johnson from Salvation Army says people need to be quick to sign up and not wait until December or it is too late. She says last year they had around 350 families who they helped, but this year she believes it will be higher because of inflation. To be able to receive a basket, a family needs to bring a proof of residency in Crawford County, income, and identification for every family member.
With the rising cost of food, it's difficult for them to be able to buy these things that they like to have for their Christmas celebration. So for us, being able to provide these opportunities for them to expend their money elsewhere, and we provide this part of the Christmas celebration.
The Salvation Army will be taking applications from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. until this Friday, so be very quick if you want to do that. They will start distributing the gifts in the half of the month of December. Joplin sign-ups are already done, and they will start distributing the gifts on December 21st. Live in Pittsburgh, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
Thank you so much, Yana. I'm curious, though, is there any way that they can help determine, and get gifts for your kids, like if you wanted to sign up to get something that your kids would really appreciate?
Yeah, they will take notes from parents. They can come with like a wish list, if what the kids may want to have. So yeah, they will take like any suggestions, what gifts they would like to have.
All right, thank you so much, Yana. Well, Independence, Kansas hosts a day full of events and activities in honor of local veterans. The Veterans Freedom Square Committee read the names of 800 local veterans in remembrance. After the readings, the winners of a high school and middle school local speech contest presented their essays for the veterans.
I think that without the veterans of our country, that we would have no one to protect us, we wouldn't have any safeguards, and we would be really lost without them.
Throughout the day, there were plenty of activities for Independence's Veterans Day of Honor, including the Veterans Parade, a military exhibit, and more. Coming up in just a little bit, our own Amber Jenkins takes us to Independence for a closer look at this celebration.
All right, quick check for sunrise and sunset for today. 6:49 for that sunrise, 5:14 for the sunset. We got to get used to that. We go through the week, some showers possible tomorrow, 79 Wednesday, more storms possible Thursday, and a big cool down as well. So we go from 75 to 37, 40s by the weekend, overnight lows dropping into the 20s.
All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, midterm election finish line is here.
Candidates are making their final push with just 1 day to go until the midterms. I'm Skyler Henry on Capitol Hill with a look at the big names, the issues, and the state of the races.
And talk of elections has many Americans stressed out. Turns out there's a name for this disorder. We'll explain.
And KOAM's Amber Jenkins takes us to Independence, Kansas for a celebration of local veterans. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Election Day is tomorrow, but already more than 40 million Americans have cast early ballots. Still, President Biden and 3 former presidents spent the weekend crisscrossing the country to drive voter turnout for their party. Meanwhile, the candidates are in the final sprint in their districts while clashing on the major issues driving this year's midterms. Skylar Henry has more.
Over the weekend, 4 U.S. presidents hit the campaign trail. A day after President Biden and former President Barack Obama made a joint push for Pennsylvania's Democrats, Mr. Biden went to New York.
This election isn't a referendum, it's a choice. It's a choice between 2 fundamentally different visions of America.
Former President Donald Trump also went to Pennsylvania Saturday, then to Florida on Sunday.
You need to vote every Democrat out of office and vote for Republicans up and down the ballot.
While former President Bill Clinton was in Nevada.
Everything I worked for all my life is on the line now.
History in the midterms typically favors the party that's not currently in control of the presidency. As candidates make their final push, they're trying to motivate voters through a series of key hot-button issues, like crime.
What we're here talking about in the need to fight crime shouldn't even be viewed as a Democrat versus Republican issue.
We have to continue getting illegal guns out of the hands of people who do harm to others.
And inflation.
Look at the economy. Right, look at the economy. They've destroyed it.
I'm going to keep working on this issue to bring down costs.
Threats to election officials and political violence remain a concern heading into tomorrow. A federal intelligence bulletin recently warned that domestic violent extremists across the ideological spectrum pose a heightened threat to the midterm and beyond Election Day, though there are no specific threats currently. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
In the latest concerning incident, officials with Arizona Republican gubernatorial candidate Carly Lake's campaign said a staffer opened an envelope containing a suspicious white powder. FBI and Phoenix police have confirmed to CBS News that early Sunday they responded to reports of suspicious items located inside the mail at the campaign's office building. There are no reports of injuries, and the investigation is ongoing. Back on the campaign trail later today, President Biden travels to Maryland while former President Trump stumps in Ohio. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, as kids get on the bus this morning, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and 47 degrees. But when they bring it, that bus brings them back home, mostly cloudy, 62. Winds could be gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour today. 65 for the high of this afternoon under increasing cloudy skies. Will be mostly cloudy as we head through the night. Early low of 52 will be 55 though by 6 a.m. And a check of your 7-day forecast, you can see where we do have some shower and thunderstorm chances we're watching tomorrow. They'll be scattered, nothing too crazy. Look at Wednesday, 79 degrees, partly cloudy. Thursday though is the day we're watching for a bigger storm system bringing shower and thunderstorm chances to the area. So we're watching the shower and thunderstorm chances, but we're also watching the big cool down. So 75 Thursday, dropping down, plummeting down to 37 for an overnight low. We're 50 on Friday, partly cloudy, 47 Saturday, 45 on Sunday, partly cloudy both days. But check out these overnight lows dropping back into the lower to mid 20s. So we go from way above average to way below average in just a matter of 48 hours. That wouldn't have it any other way in the 4 states though, right? We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. As Veterans Day is around the corner, Independence, Kansas honored veterans with speeches, remembrance, and more. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has that story.
The Veterans Freedom Square Committee of Independence, Kansas honored local veterans by reading the names of all 800 pavers dedicated to the servicemen and women from independence.
Several local veterans, and there's veterans that maybe were born here, moved away, but they've got pavers. So we put the pavers in place. They've got their names, usually their branch of service. So reading their names, I think, draws a crowd here. It's just a way to respect their service.
The committee maintains and hosts fundraisers for the Veterans Freedom Square located in Riverside Park and Ralph Mitchell Zoo.
We don't want to forget our veterans. We don't want to forget the sacrifice their families made.
Veterans were proud to see the local youth dedicate speeches to show their gratitude for their service.
My essay, I generally just wrote about the three main aspects that I think a veteran does. They provide, preside, and protect our country and our people, and that's why I wrote about them being important.
Abby's speech was inspired by her father's journey.
And working with it, I was able to just kind of come up with a bunch of different ideas, and I thought of my father, who used to be in the military, and I wanted to write about him a little bit and decided to just come up with an analogy to connect the two things.
I was very impressed with what the children come up with. It was a good way to honor our veterans.
Reporting in Independence, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
It's like hard corn too.
Now, throughout the day, there were plenty of activities for Independence's Veterans Day of Honor, including the Veterans Parade, a military exhibit, and a lot more. We've got a pretty nice day lined up for us today, albeit a bit on the breezy side. 7th and Rangeline, check out that sunrise. It looks beautiful out there. 51 in Joplin as we start the day under mostly clear skies. We've got 44 Yates Center, 51 Chanute, 51 in Parsons, 47 Neosho, and 48 in Carthage. Live look at the MoDOT camera, 36 in Rangeline. Handful of cars out there, but of course that will increase through the day. Green light for your morning drive. We'll have increasing clouds, temperatures near 50. Yellow light for the drive home. So we'll have some fairly gusty winds, upwards of say 30, maybe even 35 miles an hour. Otherwise mostly cloudy and near 60. Kids getting on the bus today. Might need a light jacket this morning. 47 and partly cloudy. When the bus brings them home, not bad. 62, mostly cloudy, but again, some gusty winds to deal with. Aside from the gusty winds, we'll have increasing clouds and an afternoon high of 65 degrees today. Heading into this evening, we're going to hit our overnight low of 52 somewhat early, and we're going to warm up just a little bit and be 55 by 6 a.m. Sunrise, sunset today. These are some numbers that it's going to take some time to get used to. 6:49 for our sunrise today, 5:14 for sunset this evening. Still kind of a little while, but we'll get used to it just in time for us to spring ahead an hour and try and get used to that change. All right, some scattered showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder possible as we head into tomorrow. And of course, don't forget to vote. 79 on Wednesday, partly cloudy. 75 on Thursday, and then we have increasing shower and thunderstorm chances. We also have a pretty potent system that's going to drop our temperatures rapidly Thursday, 37 for the low. We're only 50 on Friday, partly cloudy, 47 Saturday, 45 on Sunday, and look at these overnight lows in the lower to mid 20s as we head into the upcoming weekend. We've got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News coming right up.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the midterm elections are here. Many Americans are reporting significant related stress. Bradley Blackburn has more on what some experts refer to as election stress disorder.
In this current political climate, so many are feeling anxious about Election Day.
It's more divisive.
We live in turbulent times.
I'm nervous about the democracy in our country.
Some experts refer to it as election stress disorder. Mayo Clinic psychiatrist Dr. Robert Bright says it's not an actual medical diagnosis, but experiencing higher levels of stress and anxiety during election cycles can be real for some.
Difficulty getting to sleep or waking up early and not being able to let go of that. For some people, they experience it physically. They may have GI upset or headaches or just feel shaky. Not be able to relax, not be able to concentrate.
A recent survey from the American Psychological Association shows 2/3 of adults say the current political climate is a significant source of stress in their lives. More than 3/4 are stressed about the future of our nation.
Social media, as well as media in general, can really generate stress and anxiety around the election. So for some people, they're really focused all the time in a very concentrated way on news story and news events and living moment to moment of what's going to happen next.
Dr. Bright says election stress also comes from the feeling of not being in control. That's why it's important to control what you can. Make sure you're getting enough sleep and exercise. Do some relaxation techniques and connect with friends and loved ones that support you.
I'm going to vote. I'll pick somebody. I'm not stressed about it.
How do you stay so calm?
I just try to focus on the important parts of life.
And Dr. Bright says another thing in your control, casting your vote on Election Day. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Pandemic, inflation, and other factors are also significantly increasing stress and anxiety for many. The recent APA survey also shows an alarming 27% of adults say most days they are so stressed they cannot function. For people who have suffered a heart attack, follow-up care may be key to a longer life. Researchers in Utah found patients who kept track of their bad cholesterol levels and took cholesterol-lowering drugs after a cardiac event only had a 6% chance of having a second heart attack during the next 3 years, compared to a 60% risk for patients who did not. And a new study in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine finds people who consume ultra-processed foods like sweets, sodas, and frozen goods may be at risk of an early preventable death. Researchers determined those prepackaged foods contributed to about 57,000 premature deaths in Brazil in 2019 and suggest the impact could even be higher in high-income countries like the U.S. Well, doctors in Canada say lotion, cream, or gel is the way to go when tackling a baby's eczema rather than antibiotics or avoiding certain foods. They recommend applying any type of moisturizer to the infant's skin at least twice a day and using a topical steroid to reduce flare-ups. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
All right, Skywatch Storm Tracker on our level is pretty clear for right now. You zoom out, we got some shower activity in the southeast, some shower activity in the New England states, and then off to my right is the storm system that we're watching coming on shore in the Pacific Northwest. We could also see some gusty winds this morning, upwards of 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. A brief breakthrough Tuesday, and then we get wind gusts again Wednesday morning pushing 30, and wind gusts again Thursday morning possibly pushing 40. So today is a knocked over trash can kind of day, so do make sure it is secured. We could see a few stray showers this morning, otherwise we're dry. Beautiful sunrise at 7th and Rangeline, 51 degrees. Temperatures across the area also not too bad. 46 Neodesha, 51 Parsons, 48 Pittsburgh, and 48 in Carthage. Live look at the MoDOT camera at 36 in Rangeline. Good. We went ahead and put that yellow light for your morning drive. Increasing clouds, temps near 50, but wind gusts are the problem. Same with the drive home. Yellow light, temps near 60, mostly cloudy, but winds gusting upwards of 30. Kids getting on the bus this morning, 47. When the bus brings them back home, we're looking at 62 and mostly cloudy. As we go through today, increasing clouds, a high of 65 degrees. And for tonight, we'll drop back down to an early low of 52, and then we'll turn around and be a little bit warmer at sunrise by 55. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, calls from other states flood a new Planned Parenthood clinic in Kansas, one of the few states in the region where abortion remains legal.
We've got an absolutely gorgeous start to our day today, but some changes are on the way. We're going to talk about those changes coming up.
And 'tis the season for giving as the Pittsburgh Salvation Army spreads holiday cheer for some families in Crawford County.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we have an absolutely gorgeous start for today, but we have some big changes on the way. And I'm not just talking about some shower chances. We're talking big, cool. Poor Gabe just sneezed, the poor guy. A big cool down. So the cool down may not help his sneezing situation whatsoever. So right now at 7th and Rangeline, we have an absolutely beautiful sunrise out there and some decent temperatures to start the day. 51 in Joplin. Across the region, we're sitting all right. We've got 40, 48 Center, 43 Iola, 51 in Parsons, 51 Miami, and 47 in Neosho. Live look at the MoDOT camera at 36 in Rangeline. A few more cars on the road. Got the yellow light for your morning drive because of the wind gusts pushing 30, maybe even 40 miles an hour for some of us. Otherwise, increasing clouds in near 50. We hold on to that yellow light for the drive home for the exact same reason. Wind gusts around 30 miles an hour. Otherwise, mostly cloudy near 60. Bus stop forecast. Kids getting on that bus this morning, partly cloudy and 47. And when the bus brings them home, mostly cloudy and 62. As we go through today, we're heading for a high of 65. We'll see the clouds continue to increase throughout the day. And as we head into tonight, we are mostly cloudy. We'll hit our overnight low a bit early. It'll be 52. And then by sunrise tomorrow, we turn around and start to warm back up. We're 55 by 6 a.m. We're going to talk about a big warm up, a big cool down, a roller coaster ride, and some thunderstorm chances here in just a couple of minutes.
All right. Sounds like we got a lot to talk about.
It's a busy forecast. It's an interesting forecast.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, a new Planned Parenthood clinic in one of the few states in the region where abortion remains legal is flooded with calls. Calls are not just from panicked patients in Kansas and nearby Missouri, but also in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and even as far away as Louisiana. This clinic and other Planned Parenthood centers in Kansas have been doing their best to help, lengthening hours, hiring staff, and flying in physicians. But even then, they've been only able to take about 10 to 15% of the patients seeking abortions. All this while protesters make their anti-abortion stance outside. Now, one patient, Haley Ruark of Missouri, waited 2 weeks for an appointment. She had panicked after a series of birth control mishaps, and she already balances working 12-hour shifts as a patient care technician at a hospital while caring for her 2- and 6-year-olds.
That's insane. That's a lottery. Like, to get in to get basic health care. That to me is devastating.
The new clinic in Kansas opened 4 days after the U.S. Supreme Court's June decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Crawford County families can get some help with purchasing Christmas gifts for children. KOAM's Yana Tula talked with the Pittsburgh Salvation Army about the signups. She joins us live from the Salvation Army in Pittsburgh with more.
Thank you, Tanya, and good morning to everyone. We're live here in Pittsburgh at the Salvation Army, where they are taking Christmas sign-ups for this Christmas gifts. Shopping for the holidays can be overwhelming, especially for families on a tight budget. And that's when the Pittsburgh Salvation Army steps in. Sign-ups for Christmas baskets are underway now.
Bring in proof of residence in Crawford County, your income, and identification for every family member.
Major Patricia Johnson wants to remind families they need to act quickly and do not wait until December because the sign-ups end soon. She says gathering toys for over 350 families in the county takes time. Families are also asked to bring in a wish list for each child. Johnson says the group will try really hard to fill that list.
Bicycles, I think we're having those again this year. And we have a grant that was given to us to provide bicycle helmets. So every person who receives a bicycle will also have a helmet that goes with it.
Once a family has signed up, they will get a slip telling them when they can come in and pick up their Christmas basket.
They come in outside the building here, they pull up and it's delivered out to their car and then they drive off.
The Salvation Army partners with local Ron's Supermarket to provide an additional gift card for the grocery store.
Some people save that and buy their things that they need for the Christmas dinner. And other people, I noticed, bought something special that means something special to their families. With the rising cost of food, it's difficult for them to be able to buy these things that they like to have for their Christmas celebration.
A celebration that comes a little easier with the help of the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army will take applications from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. until this Friday, so people should be quick and do it this week. They will start distributing the gifts in the middle of December. Joplin sign-ups are already done, and they will be distributing their gifts on December 21st. Live in Pittsburgh, Janna Haudala, KOAM News.
All right, and the KOAM Toy Box is actually one of the sponsors that helps gather gifts and for the Crawford County area and all the counties in our viewing area. And Salvation Army is one of the distribution centers we use. I do have a question for you, Yana. With the Christmas wish list that you're supposed to have for each kid, how many items would they like on each of those wish lists?
They will like 3 items, I think, and then they will try do their best to get the gifts that the parents are wishing for their kids.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Well, the park staff at the George Washington Carver Monument holds a presentation about African American trailblazers. Presentation went over the lives of iconic African Americans in American history, including Booker T. Washington, Bessie Coleman, and more.
Dr. Charles Drew, he's also a fascinating guy. He was the one who first separated plasma out and was able to be stored, and which is now we go and give blood and it saves so many lives. So all of them, their stories are a huge part, are a huge part of our story, of our history and our culture.
Park staff holds free presentations about American history every 3 months.
All right, quick check of that 7-day forecast for you. So maybe some scattered showers, possibly a rumble of thunder tomorrow. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, 64, 79 on Wednesday, partly cloudy. And big storm system comes in Thursday we're keeping an eye on. Showers and thunderstorms are possible that day, and then temperatures plummet. 37 Thursday night. We drop back to the 40s for highs through the weekend, and overnight lows dip back down into the lower to mid-20s, which is hard to believe. So we go from being way above where we should be for this time of year to well below where we should be for this time of year. We just can't seem to get that average yet.
Yeah, that's true. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, Twitter announces permanent suspensions for any accounts impersonating another. The announcement comes after several Elon Musk parody accounts popped up in recent days.
Plus, we're going to take another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. It's more real news in the morning.
In Consumer Watch this morning, just days after Twitter began mass layoffs, the Wall Street Journal reports Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, is also planning large-scale layoffs as soon as this week. The layoffs could affect thousands of jobs and would be the first large-scale reduction in the company's 18-year history. Company spokesman refused to comment on the report, but pointed to founder Mark Zuckerberg's recent comments that some teams will grow while others would either stay flat or shrink in the next year. Back to Twitter. According to Bloomberg, the social media giant is now asking some of the 3,700 workers it just laid off to come back. The report indicates they were either fired by mistake or the company needs their expertise to build some new features. Also yesterday, owner Elon Musk tweeted that the platform will permanently suspend any account that impersonates another unless it clearly specifies it is a parody. It comes as multiple parody accounts of him popped up after he took over the reins. And if you're thinking about buying the new iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max for the holidays, you could be waiting longer than usual to get it. Apple says a COVID-19 outbreak at a factory in China has impacted production, which will lead to lower shipments than anticipated. The company says it's working to return to normal production levels at the facility while protecting the safety of every worker. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
We have an absolutely gorgeous sunrise this morning across Joplin from 7th and Range Line, but we will see clouds increasing today. Right now, though, we're mostly clear. 51 degrees in Joplin. Temperatures across the region look good, too. 49 Sedan, 51 Parsons, 50 Chetopa, 51 in Miami, and 47 in Neosho. Live look at the MoDOT camera at 36th and Range Line. Traffic is moving, always a good thing. A yellow light, though, for your morning drive because we could see wind gusts of 35, possibly 40 miles an hour. We have a yellow light for your drive home for the same situation, the gusty winds, otherwise mostly cloudy skies, so at least the sun won't be in your eyes this evening. Kids getting on the bus, about 47 degrees, partly cloudy. Clouds increase, so 62 and mostly cloudy by the time they get home. The clouds will increase throughout the day. We'll be with mostly cloudy skies by about the noon hour. 65 for an afternoon high, an early overnight low of 52 tonight under mostly cloudy skies. We're 55 by sunrise tomorrow morning. Could see some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder tomorrow. 64, 79 Wednesday. Bigger system, though, comes in Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms, 75, but we plummet down to 37. We drop back into the 40s through the weekend under partly cloudy skies and overnight lows in the lower to mid-20s, if you can believe that. So we're going again, as I've mentioned, from well above normal to below normal, all within about 48 hours. We've got birthdays and anniversaries right after the break, but first, we're going to pack a bag and call in sick because you know what? We're going to hit the road to New York City to see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, a kindness 101 lesson in reverence. Steve Hartman introduces us to a man who traveled 1,200 miles to pay his respects to a Texas boy's fallen hero. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
We take time to honor today's four-state hero, Josephine Kelly. Private First Class Kelly served in the Army from 1943 to 1945. During her service, PFC Kelly was an emergency medical technician, a native of Pittsburgh, Kansas. We thank you, today's four-state hero, Josephine Kelly.
All right, we've got some Monday birthdays to celebrate, and we begin in Baxter Springs with Cash Kirkwood celebrating birthday number 4, and this comes with love from Mima and Papa Kirkwood. Happy birthday, Cash. We also continue our birthday list with Mason Crozier, celebrating birthday number 14 in Arcadia. Birthday aired on Friday with no picture, but they wanted to make sure we got a picture in there. So that just means Mason gets to celebrate all week long. Happy birthday.
And Colby Matson celebrating birthday number 15 in Galena with love from Aunt Jin Jin and Grandma Patty.
And we've got Madeline Hare celebrating birthday number 18 at Chanute. And Madeline is a senior at Chanute High School, and this, of course, comes with love from the family.
Heavenly Crawford, turning 20 years old this year. Heavenly celebrating in the bus. Happy birthday, Heavenly.
And we've got Bailey Monty celebrating birthday number 20 over in Parsons. Bailey, a very happy birthday to you.
In Pittsburgh, turning 38 this year. It's time to celebrate for Darren Triber.
And we've got Lindsay Faye Guffey celebrating birthday number 39. Lindsay, a very happy birthday to you.
All right. And Lacey Brandstein, turning 42 years old this year. Lacey is in Crestline.
And we've got Barbara Persinger celebrating birthday number 46 in Joplin. And this happy birthday comes from your husband, Yancey. Barbara, happy birthday to you.
All right, Michelle Joyce celebrating double nickels. Happy number 55 in Carthage. Understand birthday was actually on Friday, so a little belated birthday wish. With love from the family.
And we've got Bill Markham over in Chanute celebrating birthday number 59. Happy birthday, Bill.
Tina Westhoff turning 62 this year in St. Paul.
And Shirley Zwalen turning 68 in Oswego, and she's pictured there with her very large cat, Benson. Shirley, a very happy birthday to you.
So struggle not to drop the cat there. All right, and Carl Studebaker celebrating birthday number 73. Definitely not going to drop that baby. Carl is in Fredonia.
We've also got Shirley Beneke celebrating birthday number 87 in Parsons, and this comes as a happy birthday from Ben, Chris, Karen, David, Ethan, Aiden, and Landon. Happy birthday, Shirley.
All right. And our birthday list goes on. We've got Tanya Davis celebrating number 47 in Pittsburgh. Christy Parrish is turning another year wiser in Arcadia, Kansas, and Doug Thomas celebrating in Pittsburgh.
And we've also got Sandy Krumsick celebrating a birthday in Joplin today. And we've got a 52nd wedding anniversary for Mark and Jenny Allen in Baxter Springs. Happy birthday and anniversary to you all. This list, as I've mentioned, keeps getting better and better, and we get more and more pictures, and that's how we like it. And if you'd like to submit yours, Tanya can tell you how.
It's fairly easy. All you have to do is send us a picture with the name and all the details to birthdayswithanS@KOAMTV.com or birthdays@KOAMNewsNow.com.
And while you're checking out our website for all the cool stuff that it has to offer, including for tomorrow, the latest election information, make sure you check out the KOAM Birthday Club. It's super easy to sign up for. All you need to do is just quickly click on that link, punch in some information, and then you get registered there for some great deals from local businesses. In addition, you get a nice happy birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. It's the KOAM Birthday Club over at KOAMNewsNow.com. Make sure you sign up. So, as we look at our future track, we may see a stray shower or two today with our increasing cloud cover. Otherwise, not bad in terms of temperatures as we head into the mid-60s. It's tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. We could see a few more stray showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, and these will roll through the area as we head through the morning and into the afternoon and early evening hours. They become kind of isolated or confined, rather, to southeast Kansas through the day. And once these clear out, they actually leave us with some partly cloudy skies, and then we have a better chance of rain later in the week. 7th and Range line, we've got an absolutely beautiful sunrise out there, 51 degrees in Joplin, northeast breeze at 9 miles an hour. We're at 46 Neodesha, 49 Newata, 51 Veneta and Miami, 49 Anderson, and 49 in Monette as we start the day. Live look at the MoDOT camera at 36 and Range line, looking pretty good so far. A yellow light for your morning drive, though, on the commuter cast because we could see wind gusts upwards of maybe 30, 40 miles an hour in some areas. Otherwise, increasing clouds near 50. Yellow light for the drive home, same reason, because of the gusty winds later today. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and temperatures right around 60 degrees. Kids getting on the bus here in about 9 minutes, 47. Partly cloudy out there, and otherwise 62 when they get home, and mostly cloudy, and of course still breezy. Clouds will increase through the day. Will be mostly cloudy for the majority of this day, 65 for the high. An early overnight low, by the way, of 52 degrees, and then by sunrise we're turning around, warming up just a bit. 55 will be mostly cloudy as we head into tonight. Quick look at sunrise, sunset, because these numbers are just very wild to grasp. 6:49 for the sunrise, so it's happening now, and 5:14 for the sunset. So do keep that in mind. It's going to be getting darker a lot earlier now. 79 on Wednesday under partly cloudy skies. 75 on Thursday, and that's when we see a big system coming in. Showers and thunderstorms possible. It also plummets our temperatures. We're 37 Thursday night. 50 on Friday. We get back into the 40s through the weekend under partly cloudy skies. And then take a look at the overnight lows heading into the weekend, the lower to mid 20s. So these lows or these highs rather, this is where I'm getting messed up, are our average lows for this time of year. And the highs that we're going to get today are right around where we should be. So we're going to go from well above to well below on the averages. We just haven't really hit an average yet this month, but well, maybe we'll get there someday. We've got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Making Memories Tour holds its annual travel. Multiple stagecoach tours and trolleys. It gives repeat customers an opportunity to come back and tour together. A Pitt State faculty member is named as part of the top 2% of scientists in the world by Stanford University. Ram Gupta works as an associate professor at PSU. Chemist spends his time researching, advocating for grants, and most importantly, inspiring a new generation of scientists. And some local tech businesses on Friday had the opportunity to show off their innovations in Joplin. The Joplin Chamber of Commerce hosted the 2022 Joplin Regional Innovation and Technology Summit. Summit provides a chance for the tech businesses to hold sessions showcasing their emerging technology, business innovations, cyber resiliency, and digital cities. KCU Joplin has started a new program to train its students with the help of actors. The simulated patient program allows students to experience realistic scenarios that they could face on the job. Actors are trained to portray patients with various illnesses and injuries. Students are assessed on how they provide care to the actors. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Got some breezy conditions and increasing cloud cover through the day. Will be mostly cloudy, high of about 65 degrees. As we head through tonight, we remain mostly cloudy, an early overnight low of 52, and then we start to warm up a bit, 55 by sunrise. Maybe a stray shower or two tomorrow, 64, near 80 on Wednesday. Cold front comes in, big system Thursday. Showers, thunderstorms, we cool down. It's the 40s by the weekend, overnight lows in the 20s.
That's a check of today's
everything.
Everything, yes.
We have checked everything today. On
Checking
your
it
checklist, you can check off everything now because we've covered it all.
And guess what we're doing today at noon?
I am very curious.
Well, we are making Fiesta rice skillet in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
That actually sounds pretty good. And of course, your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. And as part of the ongoing series Kindness 101, Steve Hartman and his kids are sharing stories built around themes of kindness and character and the people who've mastered both. His latest lesson is reverence.
All right. Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we'll have more from Pittsburgh and the Salvation Army's Christmas Drive.
And of course, we'll have a lot more of really great stuff, including Yana Hatola for that story on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 at 7. And that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.